I'm Chase.
And I'm Timothy.
And this is Customer Service.
All right, Uncle Brondo. Let's just start right off by addressing the elephant in the room here. We got the same hat on.
Oh yeah. We were gifted a very special gift from our friends at Harrell, and,
Yes.
and by gifted, it's because I asked about it 300 times.
We really want the hats.
When we first saw the collection, the guy that we've mentioned, I think, on the podcast that has incredible aura, that's the designer for
Coolest
Harrell.
guy in the world.
He was wearing one of these hats, and it was like super beat up, and he was wearing it while he was showing us the collection. And we're like, we finished the thing. I didn't ask anything at the time. And, like a couple of weeks later, I wrote him and I said, hey, I just saw in a couple of the photos that you've styled with, and when you showed us the collection, you had these hats on. They're just kind of like straightforward hat with the Harrell logo. I was like, is it possible to get those? And they were like, no, we don't make them. And I was like, okay, well, you make them, because I've seen them in a couple locations.
Yeah.
I had screenshots technically from it's like a longer story, but I had screenshots from when we met, and I had screenshots of the styling things, because I was obsessing over the collection, because I think that you guys think that we don't do the same shit you do, but we do. And I was trying to decide like, what pieces and what, and I was like, man, I really want those hats. And so I wrote again, I was like, hey, in a couple different things, and in the screen, I was like, I was just seeing this hat. I don't know if it's like a thing you guys make. I'd love to buy it for the store. And if you don't make it, or maybe it's just for staff or something, it's like, if there's any chance I could buy a couple off you, I would love to.
Yeah.
Just for personal use solely. And they were like, oh, we're surprised you like them that much. We kind of just made them for fun. We're not releasing them or anything. Kind of left it at that, and I was like, all right, well, again, if there's any amount of money, anything I can do to get. And then, so when we met with them, they gifted a couple of them to us.
Yeah, he remembered, grabbed his car keys, ran upstairs.
Yeah, it was very nice of them, because it's not like a thing that's like out there in the universe that we can.
And the way that I go about it, I'm going to wear one of them probably every day in most regard. So we're going to end up matching sometimes. That's just how it goes.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, we kind of have to get over that in this line of work, because you get excited about the same stuff you end up buying. And there's, at this point, like 10 or 12 of us or whatever, there's going to be a lot of overlap, because we're all, pulling from the same bucket.
Yeah.
Do you have any brands these days that you still pretty religiously buy from that we don't carry?
No.
Well, what do you mean? Because you're not getting underwear from here, right?
I get Lulu boxers. Okay, so yes.
This is what I'm asking for.
I get Lulu boxers.
Okay.
The
Lululemon is
Lulu,
still, I agree
whatever
with you.
they are.
We don't need to hype them up any further.
No.
We've shouted them out about as much as dry storage at this point.
Yep.
But those are the only boxer briefs we wear. It's all I have. I have, at this point, 40 pairs of them.
I do not have other ones. I've thrown everything away that is not Lulu's. And that is the marker of when I need to do laundry.
And I'll say the other one that I know we've shouted on the pod, so we can just get out of the way, is I don't own any other socks other than Uniqlo socks.
Now that has changed for me. I picked up 5 pair of Family Mart socks. So I've now got 6 pair of Family Mart socks.
I'm not a fun
Uniqlos.
enough person to wear Family Mart socks.
I
think they're so cool.
I don't even view them as fun, though. I mean, you can see the stripe, but the way that I wear my pants and shit now, too, you don't even see the stripe.
The stripe even attempting to peak for me would not be, I just can't do it. It needs to be full plain.
I'll tell you what, though. They're dope socks, dude.
I'm not saying they're not dope socks.
They're so solid. Yeah. So I picked up
if they had,
4 more
if they
white
had
and a black pair.
Solids, it would be done.
Well, they did, but they're not of the same construction.
No.
And I think they're more like a shorter quarter length ones. And so
I feel
some,
like a pervert when I wear those. I don't know what it is. I feel like it's like when you have shoes on with just underwear or something, like the odd chance that you or you do a bathing suit situation, you got the flip flops on still, and you're like, you get the flip flops on nude when you're in the shower at the gym, and you're like,
lock me up, dude.
This feels crazy. That's how I feel in quarter length socks.
Yeah. So no, but I'm. That you've named them. Uniqlo socks / Family Mart socks. Every time we go back, I will buy more Family Mart socks. I have a Family Mart beanie.
And obviously this only relates to clothes.
Yeah, only relates to clothes.
And
then
I'm going to count vintage not as a part of this, because that's something I can't.
I don't have any vintage. Things that are in my closet that are not from Canoe Club.
I think that's your biggest fashion mistake, is that you won't do vintage for some, because eBay scares you.
Yeah.
I think it's a big
And I'm
mistake.
not going to go into vintage stores.
I agree. I don't go into vintage stores anymore, because at this point, vintage stores are run by only one type of person now. Unless you're going out to a thrift store in the middle of nowhere. I understand it still exists, I'm sure, somewhere. But for the most part, you have 100 very curated vintage stores. And they all want so much money for stuff, so much beyond. Grail has made everyone convinced that all vintage is worth billions of dollars. And the reality is it's just not.
Yeah.
Most of it's worthless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe there's a trending thing here or there and it gets a little bit more expensive. But like a Carhartt, like an old Carhartt going for like $300 to $400 is psychotic. No one should pay that. That's so stupid. Do you know what I mean? It's too stupid. And that's the problem. A lot of these like curated stores, they look great. God bless you. I think it's super cool. You know what I mean? And I think that some people will gladly pay for that level of curation. So I support it. I think you're probably...
It's clearly a customer.
You can make money on that. You can do your thing. God bless. You know what I mean? I like that like you started to see people break into like, you know, like more sports area oriented stuff or graphic tees or only Western wear or denim or whatever it is that, you know, so there's hyper curation even beyond that. And I think that that certainly helps. But at the same time, if you just like spend a little bit of time on eBay and getting to know the systems and the search and how you notify yourself and blah, 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 you can find this stuff for better prices.
Yeah, no doubt.
I like it for when I see inspo somewhere that I like. You know, I'll see an Instagram thing or somebody out in the wild when we're in Japan.
You go try to find the thing.
And I'm like, okay, I want a very particular item, but maybe it's like I'm not ready to fully commit to it as a thing. You know what I mean? Like let's say I wanted like a really cool looking like vintage military jacket. Maybe I just want to test it first to see if that's a jacket I actually go back to a lot, and then maybe I like to do this with new stuff, and then I'll decide, oh, if I got worked in my rotation enough times, then I might want to spend a little, you know, some serious money on like something really nice. Yeah, it's like a nice way to like test things too. Or I have things that I just know fit me really well, like 90% of my jeans are vintage. I like buying like vintage sweaters because there's something about them not being precious.
Well, the J.
That
Crew
I
one
like.
You just had on the other day.
I like
really
like
dope.
old one. Yeah. So I still like. I don't want to count vintage, but that would be a big one for me.
Yeah, I mean, I as we've been talking, I have literally nothing in my closet that was not from Canoe Club. I have.
Oh, I'm gonna count Birkenstock too because we don't technically.
Oh, Birkenstock, sure. And then I have been loyal to them. I've got many a pair. Vans we now carry. Beyond that, it's all I wear.
For the most part, if it works into our rotations, we eventually try to bring it in.
Yeah. The two vintage pieces that I have, one you could maybe call vintage, one you couldn't. One is Mishan knew a kid in Portland who put a bunch of shit for sale on his stories one day, early pandemic, and he was selling like a vintage green, my long military coat. What would it be? A fishtail parka? What's the numerals for it? You know
M65
what I mean?
or
M65. Whatever it is, it's a standard one, no hood, just a little stand collar kind of thing. That I got for $35. Absolutely love it. Vintage. Beyond that, our buddy Spaceman gave me a pair of double taps cargos that I wear a ton, wore them in Japan, wear them all the time. I don't know how old they are, if they're vintage or what have you. But beyond that, like I'm not exaggerating here. Virtually every single piece remaining outside of my Kirkland tees that I have are from the store. Pants, jackets, flannels, literally everything. I have a vintage LL Bean flannel from you. It's even a little too big for my liking. I hardly wear it. A pair of Gramichis were gifted to me from the reps or what have you. And beyond that, it's all from here. I like it that way. It simplifies it for me because I'm not as feverish a consumer as most other people. Like I buy shit from Whole Foods and from Canoe Club, and that's outside of whatever food I get. That's literally it, dude. Like I really am not a shopper.
What do you think that is?
I'm frugal, and I try not to obsess about products because then it gets to be too much, and it's just easier to get it from here. I like and stand by what we have. And so if I can get it from here, I'll just do that. And if not, I'm not going to pay full price for clothing for the most part too. It's been almost 8 years of working here. We get discount, you know what I'm saying?
I think that's a fair thing to say even here. It's just like if you've been in the industry long enough, you know what I mean? Like if you worked food and bev, you know what I mean? Like at some point you're just like, oh man, like the markups on those things are crazy. You know, I would never pay. And just to be clear, too, when I say that, I'm actually saying that in the sense that our markups aren't so crazy. You know what I mean?
Compared to food and bev.
Compared to almost anything, to be honest with you. I mean, maybe outside of restaurants, actually. Like, because we support brands that, like, pay people well, are often like family run small things.
A lot of time out of the country. So you
almost
have to get
always
it here
out of the country.
yeah.
The level of quality that you pay for is I'm paying an artist, and then on top of that, it's made from super high quality stuff. So that's great. Like when you're like, oh, cashmere, there's levels of cashmere. But if I'm talking about like the kind of cashmere we'd carry, there's like, it just costs what it costs, man. There's not, you know what I mean? Like it's just like the prices that are there. Honestly, I stand behind everything we do, because when we get our little discount on things, it ain't anything that
still ain't
wild.
Cheap.
Yeah,
no. Like this Visvim jacket, I got this season, and that was my cop because I wanted a denim jacket. This one was the perfect one, and I got it, and now I'm happy with it. And I will say, coming off of the thought of only things being from here, is like I don't really have much like. I've got a couple sweatpants from Canoe Club that are lounge around the house. I have hoodies from Canoe Club that are lounge around the house. I don't even have like dirty clothes, not dirty clothes, but like everything here I really love. Everything I own in my closet I really love. And if I'm going to do yard work, I'm wearing like an Orslo chore coat, you know what I mean? And a pair of my fatigues that I've had for the years. I only have things that I love and nothing that is like...
Yeah, but I think that also, like, you have to realize that what you're saying is kind of privileged in its own way. I don't mean like, you know, when people, you know, point at like rich kids. I'm talking about that, like, you work around this stuff all the time.
Exactly.
So you get to see it, you get to touch it, you get to figure out what works and what doesn't. So it's easy to not make mistakes that way, quite frankly.
I hardly buy things that I don't love because I've had the opportunity to be around it so much before. There is no window shopping in. If I like something, I'll just try it on and go look in the mirror right there. And I'll know right then. Yeah. It doesn't have to get shipped to me. I don't have to ask for measurements, nothing. It's just here. I put it on. If I like it, I'll just buy it. So there is no experimenting. The experimentation is different.
Well, you're also just sort of like at this point, I mean, I've at least been doing this for 15 years. I've just seen it so many times. Do you know what I mean? Like I've seen the whole thing so many times that like it's just a little. I understand what you're saying when you're like it's a little less feverish. It's like I get excited about stuff, but the other thing is I get excited about stuff and then forget about it for a year because I see it so far in advance. We've talked about that before.
We look at the
so by the time you
sheets
get it, you're like a little less because you're like already on to the next thing. And that can also be kind of hard because you're always looking at fashion in the future and not fashion now.
Yeah.
And that can be kind of tough because it's like that's why I'm always reconsidering my closet because you're like, oh, you know.
No, this has come in and I had this thought or I saw this cool look or it makes me want to reposition my shit. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. I mean, it's really been like cathartic for me over time to, as I've purged and purged and purged, I now look at my closet and I'm like, I know exactly what I like.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because anything that I like, I have like 4 of. You know what I mean? I like flannels, so I have like 4 of them. I like striped shirts like I'm wearing now. I have like 4 or 5 of those. I like white t-shirts and off black t-shirts. I have a shitload of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And we have more on the way, by the way.
Yeah.
Let's check.
And then I have denim outfits.
Yes, sir.
And I've got 3 of those, like tops and bottoms that match.
Great.
And then I've got old jeans, and I've got like 5 of those. I like black pants. I have like 5 of those. Like it's now when I look at it, I'm like, I won't part with these things because I wear all of those things. Yeah. And then when you get rid of the like extra stuff that you've bought, where you're like, maybe I'm a this guy. I guess maybe like as time's gone, I spend a little less time wondering if I'm a that guy. You know, it's an interesting thing to deal. Well, you know, this is a off topic, I guess now, but kind of on topic. What are your like lounge around? I know we've kind of talked about this, but what's your lounge around the house outfit? And then what does it turn into now that it's like colder out? Because it's like I think we've hit a time where the air conditioning units are going to come out for the year. You know what I mean? In the apartment,
dude, it is finally cold enough to where either the heat needs to kick on or it's plenty cold at night to where I'm underneath the blanket. I hate when it's so hot that I'm half in, half out, you know.
I fully disagree. I mean, I'm happy because we have a really pretty fall here, and unfortunately, if anything, because of Japan, and then we've got another trip, we're missing a lot of it because it is legitimately like idyllic here. You know what I mean?
Beautiful right now.
Yeah. But I really don't want the weather to turn. I hate it. I hate the cold weather. I hate how long it's gonna last. You're gonna act like you love it, and then literally one month into it, you're gonna complain about it. It's like I don't like cold anymore. Yeah. I don't like being cold. I don't like precipitation of any kind.
Yeah.
I want it to be hot and dry year. I want to live in a desert. I'm going to move to Arizona.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's the last place in the world I would move. I literally can't think. I was talking to Michelle about this because we have to go to Arizona in February for her brother's wedding. And I'm excited because I've never been to Arizona, and we're staying near her dad lives in a community half the year. It's all like retirees. Like, you know how people from Ohio move from Ohio and Indiana to Florida? Mm-hmm. On the West Coast, they all moved to Arizona. So there's a lot of these communities. Excited to see it. They got fruit trees, this and that. I'm excited about that. Never seen Arizona. However, I can't imagine a state I would want to live in less than Arizona. And I'm not just saying that in my hyperbolic chase way. I mean, if you could catalog all 50 states, that would be the last one that I would live in. Just the heat, the relentless heat. It's so hot you're not even supposed to go outside for periods of the year. And it's
I mean, that obviously...
Like, that's insane.
Yeah, an extreme is never good in any way. You know, cold, hot, whatever it is.
And I would rather deal with miserable cold than unbearable heat 11 months out of the year.
See, that's where I disagree. If I had to choose one or the other of like being, you know, uncomfortable, I'd rather be uncomfortable hot at this point now than uncomfortable cold.
You can stick me in the backwoods of Wisconsin.
As long as it's dry. Humidity is not. Well, that doesn't count.
Down there.
That doesn't count. Humidity doesn't count. Dude, I don't want that at all.
Humidity is fucked.
Yeah.
I'm done with it as well.
I hate it.
But that'd be the last place I would live. To answer your question, lounging around, then I want to know what you do, because I think I got an idea what you do, but I'm sure it shifted. I mean, I wear long sleeves every day, home or not, more or less. So I'm usually in. I have a lady
long sleeve tees too.
No, no. I have my Canoe Club hoodie in mauve. Remember those? I like the fit of it. I've got some stains and shit on it that I can't get out, so I don't wear it out and about all that much. But it's my home hoodie. I wear it with nothing underneath because I like how baggy and I like how it feels. I wear that, or I have a lady white crew neck, similarly with stains and shit from cooking. That is my uniform at home. It's that hoodie or it's that lady white long sleeve crew neck. And then I have a pair of mesh basketball shorts, or I have a pair of Umbro, what Michelle calls my lady shorts, because I think I got them in high school, but I think they were like girls shorts, not like women's shorts even. Like, they hardly fit my waist anymore, but they're like this long, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or a couple pairs of sweatpants that I've gotten from the shop. It's sweatpants, shorts, and then a hoodie or a long sleeve, and that's it. And that's always. Mm-hmm. That's it.
See, I've been thinking about. Go ahead.
Or I just have on like whatever pair of fatigues I had on that day, and I put on a hoodie. So like I'm wearing Orslo 101s today, the black denim stones. I'll probably keep those on until I go to bed, and just lounge around in them. You know what I mean? I've
been, you know, this is kind of coming up because I was poking around on my usual, checking around for fashion news that I do, and I saw an article in Wall Street Journal that says Stanley Tucci doesn't think sweatpants should be worn in public, which I just am like, look, I love Stanley Tucci. Don't get me wrong. Tucci's a cool guy.
I'm going to look him up real quick.
You know Stanley Tucci. The thing that bothers me is like, how much can we continue to perpetuate this sweatpants in public thing? Do you know what I mean? Because like, what are you idealizing? You know what I mean? That you live in a world where like there couldn't be a good version of that happening. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Obviously, you know, you taking like a stained sweatshirt with mismatched bottoms, you know what I mean, out in public, that sounds a little not great. You know what I mean? Obviously, I'm still pro. I still am a person, at least, who, if I'm going to a place where I have to be in public, you know what I mean? Like, where I'm not just doing something like some quick errand or anything, like even quick errands, I'm not anything crazy. You know what I mean? I'll still do t-shirt and jeans, but like, I feel like at least there has to be slightly harder clothes put on for the most part. Mm-hmm. But I have been thinking lately about how I'm not sure that is uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Now, like and just to go in reverse here for a second, I've mentioned this before. Like, my at-home clothes are basically always the same thing. I have some Fear of God shorts that I got from the shop. Yeah. Like short shorts, little nylon-y shorts.
I got those somewhere. I lost them, yeah.
I have 2-3 other pair of like Lululemon like workout shorts, and these are all basically black or khaki. Mm-hmm. They're all black or khaki. I don't know why those are the only 2 colors I have, but those are the 2 colors I have. And that's pretty much all of my like at home clothes. It's just like workout clothes basically. Yep. So I just put on workout shorts and then a band tee. Mm-hmm. And I pretty much change into that as soon as I'm home, and that's like what I feel comfortable in.
Yeah.
So it's a bunch of really beat up, metal tees and like short nylon shorts. Never Patagonia baggies. I don't know why people like those. I'm actively against that short.
Well, I used to wear
not the
mine a lot.
aesthetic, but the Patagonia specific short.
Rise is kind of freaky, huh?
Dude, it does something to me that is the most uncomfortable like bottom I could put on my body.
I can't wear mine anymore. I might just be filling out a little bit than when I got mine when I was 24 or whatever. You know what I mean?
You can size up in those things, because with shorts I almost always buy a size big, because I'd rather shorts kind of hang on me a little bit and then they be shorter. You know what I mean? So I'll buy like a shorter inseam but buy kind of a bigger waist. So it kind of just once you belt it and everything. But the those in particular, just baggy on the waist, but somehow like tight on the hip, and then loose in the thigh. I don't even know how you'd create
tight on
this.
the hip, dude.
It's like an hourglass short.
Yeah.
It's insane. I don't know why people like it so much. Anyway, but it's extensively that's the look. It's like that type of short with a band tee is my main thing in Birkenstocks.
It's good.
And it's fine in the summer, especially around here. It doesn't matter. I will say, like, even if I go and run an errand or whatever, I'll throw like a shirt or jacket kind of over the top of that. Or I kind of finish it a little bit. Yeah. Because I don't feel comfortable fully in that. Even then, to be honest with you, probably wouldn't do workout shorts unless I'm going to do hike or gym, and then I have errand in between.
Yeah, I got you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it looks fine, but I'm not, it's not my favorite. If I had a choice, if I'm not doing any exercise, then I will put on a regular short, even like a regular chino short, and then it feels finished to me.
Yeah, and I got you.
These are all silly rules. But so I kind of understand what people are saying, but I think that like it's really gotten so old and like tired with the like sweatpants in public thing being like that's the most demonized
There's
thing.
a lot of high-end options, you know what I mean? I think
everyone's looked at Aime Leon Dore before, you know what I mean? Like everyone's looked at that shit and been like, oh yeah, like a top coat and sweat kit looks fucking cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
Just does. You know what I mean? And I don't mean that that's like iconic or whatever. It doesn't need to be, but like of the past 5 years, it's a fine look.
Yeah. I just think the sweatpants shouldn't be your ratty at home ones.
Of course.
You know what I mean? I think that you can get an elevated sweatpant, and if you're comfortable in that material, then rock it. But like, if it's your ratty at home ones with a bunch of stains and shit, like they're gonna read like dirty sweatpants.
See, I've been thinking though lately about making an investment into a couple sweat kits. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We've got that ones from Health Knit.
Yeah.
And I think I need a top and a bottom that match.
Yep.
I think I'd like that. I think it'd feel like I have like a uniform at home.
Yeah.
What I really think I like is the Jinbei situation that you get at the hotels.
Yes, sir. By the way, did you nab those pants from the last hotel?
No.
I did.
No. If I get charged, you're paying my ass, because it's the second time you've done that.
Well, did they charge us last time in Kyoto, you think?
I don't remember.
Here's the thing, though. They can't just wash them and give them to people. They have to just throw them away afterwards, right?
Definitely wash them and give them to people.
Well,
anyway.
I will say there was extras in my hotel room. There was more than...
But you can't wear those in winter, because the only Jinbei things that I found online are like linen or light, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, these are like light.
So I think that I want to make that switch, because I am noticing that I'm like cold a lot in the situation I normally go with. So I think I gotta make this switch, but it feels like a very formal. I don't know if there's something that feels weird about it to me, because I think that, like you're saying, I normally think of like there's outside clothes and inside clothes, and those two things never meet in the middle, really.
For me, they don't. Very rarely. And like even like my shorts that I wear here and there in the summer, I would never just wear those lounging around the house. Those are different shorts.
Yeah.
They have to be different for me. But also on the note of Stanley Tucci, I've heard this name many a time. Would have never known that this is him. He's in that Limetown show that I watched. Him, Jessica Biel, whoever else, you know what I'm saying?
It is crazy that's what you always like know a celebrity from like one of their weirdest or worst roles.
Well, that's the thing, is the show is not on any streaming services. I will say I watched the entire show, 10 episodes, sans the last 5 minutes, because I fucked around and went over and watched that scene in Drumline on the plane.
Oh, we didn't talk about this. I didn't talk.
Did we not?
I forgot to talk about this. When we were on the plane
home,
and I don't know what it was, but I slept like not at all on any of these flights. Yeah. Maybe an hour.
Sure.
So you guys are in front of me. You and Mashan are presumably asleep, because there's no TVs on or anything. No TVs on in the row. So this is why I noticed this. So I'm here.
in a way that you can see my screen.
I can see your screen.
Yep.
I see you mess around with the True Detective in the Lime show or whatever.
Yep.
Now and then, you know what I mean? But basically, it'll be like you wake up, you turn it on, and then the episode ends, and you've been asleep, and it sits there on that screen forever, and it goes dim.
Yep.
At one point, and this would have been, I don't know what body clock would have been, but imagine this would have been like
3 hours left in the
No one was
flight.
really up at this point. No one was really doing anything. You wake up. I see this whole thing happen. I see you kind of stir out of because you have, the Visivum hood that's like, it's like a
covering my
50
face.
foot long. It's like it's like raising a sail when you put that thing up.
Yep.
And then you've got the
neck pillow.
You've got a jacket on. You've got 85 layers on.
Yeah.
I see you rumble up.
Yeah.
like you've been
coming out of a hibernation.
like a bush suit that you were sniping in for the past 3 days. You rumble up. You pop up for a minute, and then I watch you go to the search bar, search Drumline. You go to Drumline. You use the scrubbing feature to go all the way to the end. You click the 30 seconds forward like 100
I scrubbed
times.
once and then back and forth to get there.
And then I see you go to the end scene. I'm like dying laughing in my seat. Because I'm like, there's no way this is what he's doing. You watched the last, you watched the main scene.
Yeah, the battle scene.
The battle scene of Drumline, and then turn it off and go back to sleep.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's because I had woken up, the guy ahead of me had on Drumline, and I was like, oh, fuck. How did I not realize he's watching this movie? I love Drumline. This is the final scene. And I was like, I should watch the final scene. So I did. I popped over and watched the final scene. It's a good movie.
Then right back to bed.
Then right back to bed. Slept as much as I possibly could. But anyway, Stanley Tucci, I finished all of the show except for the last 5 minutes. I forget how it ends.
Shoot.
Good podcast though. If anybody's looking for a longer form podcast, you should.
It came out like a long time ago, huh?
Yeah. Because you and I listened to it together early.
I feel like that was like COVID days.
Oh yeah, dude. If not 2019, you know what I mean. Stanley Tucci, he's got quite a catalog.
Yeah, he does.
I'm not even sure that they name Limetown in this.
Probably don't need to.
Bro, they literally didn't. It's not even named in here.
Anyway.
It must have been a throwaway to TV thing.
They were like, he's like, don't even put my name on it. It's one of those things where, like, I guess to go back to what we were talking about is I just get a little like fashion rule kind of stuff. So it's so dumb, and then it's like, obviously any given thing that you could say to me right now could be done tastefully. It's just the reality, right? Like anything, I can't think of anything.
At the point that we're at, yeah, sure.
There's no more like, this isn't the 50s. This is what I mean. Like, what are you idealizing at a certain point? This world that like is the 50s where everyone wears suits everywhere. Get out of here.
Well, that's never going to happen.
Like, nobody wants to do it. You can decide that you want to do that, and you're unique. And if that makes you feel great, that's amazing for you. And I think that
you can wear your suits with your fedoras and you can do your thing.
And listen, I think that like a lot of that, also the thing that bothers me is a lot of people that talk about that, it normally comes down to this is a little bit of a class situation. It's because you can afford to do that all the time and keep that fresh. You know what I mean? Like not everyone can do that. That's a very certain level of money that you're going to need to have that your like throwaway outfits are Brunello Cucinelli. You know what I mean? That's your casual shit. So that's a little small-minded to me. You know what I mean? When people get into their bag on this whole like, I just wish people would dress up more. It's like, and also, do you honestly want to go to the movies in a suit?
Well, and here's the thing.
Come on.
Think of the people like whether they're archetypes in your head or real people.
Yeah.
Are they people you want to hang out with either? It's like,
yeah, like they don't have cool taste in music, dude.
No, they don't have cool taste in anything.
They're gonna like say that they like a classical thing, and you're like, okay, that's fine that you like that, but like that doesn't need to be part of your identity that you know that, and I don't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't have a TV. It's like, well, cool, man.
Cool, but you watch your shit on your laptop.
Yeah.
You know,
first of all, that's what I would do too. I think it's better. I watch movies on my phone.
But people who say, oh, I haven't had a TV in 10 years, what they're trying to say is, I am so above sitting on the couch watching a movie, but what they're neglecting to say is that they're happy to sit and watch their shows on Netflix on their laptop. But the TV is what the problem is. Well, no, that's not what we're communicating here.
Yeah. If the argument was, I want people to want to go out in the world more. Do you know what I mean? And we lived in a fun society where there wasn't inflation on inflation on inflation, and like food was cheap and super affordable, and movies were affordable, and not every time you left the house. I mean, I know this is like a trope, but like it really is like, it's like every time you leave the house, it's $100, dude. Then I think you'd have a lot more young people out. Number one. That's the thing I notice more than anything. It's not just where we live. It's like overall, I really notice, at least in this country, I don't see young people out as much anymore. You know, I'm sure with COVID, with everything else, just a lot of staying inside. Now, listen, you can have food delivered now. You can go, all movies are basically available within a week at home. I get it. You know what I mean? TVs are better. Home gaming is better. You don't need to go to an arcade to do a game. And I do think that there's like a certain level, and you can say there's an argument for both sides of that. I can live on either side in any given day. I do think it stinks that you don't have like common community with people any longer because of that. Like you're so not used to socializing, and it's just the world we live in. You're not used to that type of face-to-face socializing so much that it feels like a bigger deal than it really is ultimately. Where is if you had to go and leave your house to do any given thing you wanted to do, grocery shop. I only go grocery shopping physically. I like going, but like even me, 75% of the time.
Yeah.
And I like it. Like it's an errand I like to do. You'd have to go to the bank to do anything. You know what I mean? Like you have to go to the arcade if you want to play games at all. You have to go to the movies if you want to see a movie. Like you have to be out. Otherwise, there's nothing to do. You know what I mean? So it's not like when people are like, oh, I'm just like an introvert. I'm like, you're an introvert because everything is there and available for you. Like you probably, if this was however many years ago,
6.
you would get bored.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It might be really relieving for a week, and then you'd be like, well, I'm bored, dude. I'm going to go mill around.
Yeah.
You know, because it's just nothing happening. And that's probably a better world, I'll admit. Some of it. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. You know, pros and cons to either side of this story. But if your longing is because you wish that more people were out and about, and when you're out and about, you just kind of want to look better. I mean, it's just a natural thing because you're around people. You want to present well.
Sure.
And if it was like, I think unfortunately style has become pretty classist in a certain way, where it's like, I think that the time that you're idealizing when Stanley Tucci talks about this is a time when like suits were like $100. You know what I mean? Like every guy could work, you know, a normal job and have an office job and afford, you know, whatever he wanted. You know what I mean? And there was only so much available. And so you'd have to create natural style within these confines that made it was just different. Everyone was participating. You know what I mean? And I think that is a different world than we live in now, number one. Very different. And yeah, that sounds great. If that's what you're referring to when you say, I don't think people should wear sweatpants, cool. But it's a whole different thing now. And to act like there's no nuance, that there's only one version of sweatpants that exists, and you're either in a suit or sweatpants.
Yeah.
These arguments are so old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, I just think that like we have to be okay. Like, you know, at one point, like Ralph Lauren was considered not like pushing the boundaries or pushing things of what luxury could be, because he was incorporating sportswear more and more into his like runway. And that was like kind of a no-no. Those were two different worlds.
Yeah.
And one shall never touch the other, you know, kind of deal. And I think that this isn't new information. That changed a long time ago.
Yeah.
So why does this stuff still come out? Like what do you think people are like, you know what I mean? What is this fascination with it being so anti like casual wear of any kind?
What's the word? Like signaling, you know, taste signaling. I'm so tasteful. Obviously I would never wear sweatpants out in public. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, but like, I think more to what you're questioning is like, why? What is that communicating?
Well, what if I've got the full cashmere kit from Harrell, man?
Yeah,
I'm like way deeper than you're on your dumb Brooks Brothers jacket.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Say, yeah.
But so like it's not really. It's like it feels like a way to demean something you can't participate in. You know what I mean? Because Stanley Tucci in sweatpants, even if he's got the Chesterfield over the top, he's got the coffee in the beanie, and he's doing the whole ALD thing. He looks like a dumbass. You know what I mean? So he can't do it. So it's like, is it just like a generational thing where it's
I think it's generational.
where it's like almost like I'm jealous that I couldn't pull that off. You know what I mean? Because I also sometimes feel like as I get older, I do tend to be a little bit more, want it to be a slightly more sophisticated take on old things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I find myself gravitating towards that a little bit more every single year, you know?
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that I have to be like, and I hate the way all these young
it's like
kids
if you don't
dress.
understand it, you hate it. That's just kind of what it is, which is fine. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's like young people's music. It's like you can be like, oh man, it doesn't really like resonate with me exactly. But anytime I have that problem, I try to go, that's ignorance. That's me hearing like one thing that I don't really understand and then being like, well, not for me. And you're like, well, that's like, you know, anything new is going to be like feel weird for a minute. And then you listen to a few more things, you're like, oh wait, never mind. You know what I mean? I get what they're pulling from. I get what they're doing. I can connect with it a bit more. And I think that sometimes that willful ignorance, but acting like you're above everyone else, that drives me nuts. It's like you're not willing to understand anything else. But you also don't like it's, you know what I mean? Like it's a weird criticism to me.
Yeah.
You know,
I do that to an extent, but I'm trying to be a little bit better about it.
How do you mean? Like, give me an example of what you mean.
In terms of music, like that Chapel Roan, Abby played a couple of the shit around. Mishan plays some of it at home, and it's like, oh, this is actually bangers. But like the first time I heard it, I was like, maybe this isn't for me, but I don't get it. I don't know why the whole world is loving this. But then you hear a couple of things, you're like, wait, no, I actually...
Well, it's exposure. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's exposure. You hear it. And maybe I mean, dude, so many things that I like now, that I like really care about, didn't hit me the right way first. And then I had to come back to them in my own way. Or I think a lot of times what people, especially, I try to be better about this, because I think especially in our niche of what we do and what we're interested in, this is a lot of guys and girls that like want to be into something that no one else knows about.
Yeah.
And I've tried to be more okay with like, I don't care. I just want to like it. You know what I mean? I just really want to like it.
For yourself.
Yeah. And sometimes that takes me doing independent research, or it takes me like taking the next step of like, I got introduced to something and maybe you get introduced at the wrong time. Or like, maybe you like what you're saying, someone plays Chapel Rowan at the studio while we're doing something and you're also like, this is just not what I want to hear right this second. Like, it's not the type of music I want to hear right this minute.
Maybe contextually you hear it in a different way.
And then you're like,
I'm
damn,
given a nugget of information that makes me think about her music differently, and I was like, oh, that's 100%. Dope.
So first thing I always do, I think I've said this before, but anytime I like start to like be like, oh, I kind of dig this, or I'm not sure, but I watch a live performance first, because I want to see what they look like, how they dress, what guitars they choose, how they've set everything up, how they've considered, how they're being. It's a full thing. You know what I mean? And that really that matters to me, because it'll change my entire perspective on something,
good or bad.
Yeah.
Like the first time I heard the Bon Iver record, I was in middle to end of college, and I had just rejected it because kids from my hometown that I didn't like really liked it. So I was like, no, fuck it. And then I heard it, I was like, wait, this is so good. I can't believe I rejected this for this long. Listen. Went to watch a live version. I see him in a pair of like zoomy sunglasses and a pink tank top.
Yeah, he
and
really
I was like,
went down a
damn
weird...
it, dude. I wanted him to be emaciated, dressed all black,
just to be
sad.
Clear.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, he didn't start. That was like a thing that he started doing. You know what I mean? But I'm also going to, because we've talked about this before, and you know, I really do believe in the ethos of the podcast that we put forward of
strong opinions loosely held. Yeah.
Because I remember I was watching a movie. I don't remember what movie, and it had one of his billion side projects that he has in it, and I was like, and it was more instrumental, and it was the way it was layered and everything was really smart to the build up to where there's lyrics, and they placed it perfectly in this movie. And I was like, this is really good. I knew who it was as soon as he started like singing too. And I'm like, I know what this is. I was like, I don't know what, I know he's in it. And I'm like, I normally don't love his whole thing, but I listened to that record and I'm like, this is really good. It's really well considered.
Yeah.
It has great movements. It's asking something of the listener, and there's like a call and response between writing and what he's making. And it's really good. I mean, it's really good. It's just all there is to it. And then I went back and I listened to the old stuff and I'm like, there's things here. There's things I know the tropes that this is doing, and it's so rooted in a time.
Yeah.
And that can be maybe negative for a little while and then turn around also in life, because sometimes there's like things that are so specific to a certain time period that you're like, this was really great then, I don't know if this will stand up to the test of time. Maybe 30 years from now I'll come back to that record and be like, now it's like I've had enough time away that it feels nostalgic or it feels different. Or you realize how the amount of influence it had, like even if you don't love it. So I'm just always open to going back to that stuff or changing my mind. I mean, there's things that I'll hear and be like, I don't get it. I don't like it. I don't like the look. I don't like the vibe. I don't like, whatever. But it's difficult it can also be difficult the other way when you're like super into something like early on and you love it, and then it gets popular. And then you also have this like natural, like, oh, did I miss something? You know what I mean? And I've had to like shed that dumb layer of, of being pretentious basically. Yeah.
And for the record, I still like Bon Iver and I like all those projects, but to the note of watching the live videos and the imagery, it did bum me out that he didn't fit the image that I created for him in my head, which is unfair.
That's also, that's completely like you've decided.
I wanted it to be a certain way because it spoke to me in that way.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt in that moment or at that period of time in life. And I was like, I can relate to this. So I want him to be this way.
I know that I do it in life a lot of like, I'll have this idea in my head of how something is because I've been so invested in like movies and music and drama, you know what I mean? Like dramatic versions of everything in life. You know what I mean? If you're deeply interested in the arts, I think at the end of the day, the world is often a letdown. If put in the wrong lens, I suppose is the way to look at it. But sometimes that'll happen where you're like, oh, I don't like the way I like the music, but I don't like the way it looks, or I like the look, but the music's not really what I want it to be. You know what I mean? It just doesn't feel like it all lined up in your version of how you categorize it in your brain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you like your entire thing is like, Owen and the microphones and shit like this, where it's a bunch of like scrawny Midwestern dudes making overly like, not empathy. I can't think of the word.
Are you doing it dramatic?
Not dramatic, but
because that's an American football lyric.
Oh yeah. I was doing I'm not trying to think of dramatic. It's earnest.
Yeah,
like it's very earnest,
yes,
and it's sometimes to the point where I could even take the feedback of someone listening to some of that music and being like, "This is kind of annoyingly a lot." You know what I mean?
Totally,
like
totally.
It's feedback I understand.
Mm-hmm. I've shown Owen to people and then be like, "It's not for me." In this moment, and maybe a little too much this, that, and the other, and I'm like, I hear you on that, but the way that I received it when it was shown to me will forever make it important to me. But if you didn't have that experience, I totally get that it might not work for you at 27, whatever. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's where I was going to say is the other thing that comes into place here is there's some things that just are not for you. You know what I mean? Like the things I liked when I was 15 are not the things I necessarily like now. Maybe there's a piece, maybe there's something that feels nostalgic. Maybe there was something that really, really did make something interesting that I think stands the test of time in some way. Like I still think Saves the Day is good and relevant, and somehow they had
I would
a
listen
sound.
to Can't Slow Down any time.
You know what I mean? Like they were able to make something that I think stands up and influences a lot of other things and blah, blah, blah. But there was also like that plus a bunch of garbage that absolutely does not stand the test of time. You know what I mean? So, but it's not for that. You know what I mean? Like not every piece of art is supposed to be like
For the record, I hated Joyce Manor the first time I heard it.
Really?
Yeah. But I can't remember if it was rejecting the people that liked it. Yeah. But long story short, then I came around pretty quick and I was like, oh, fuck, dude, it's
really good.
I have to shed all of this thing that I was doing because this is amazing and I love it and it speaks to me. Yeah.
It's a hard thing to do.
And I'm saying like month after the fact. You know what I mean?
What about on the reverse side of what you're talking about? Like I was just thinking because of what we were talking about a minute ago and we brought up the, ALD always has this very specific way they shoot, blah, blah, blah. And I was on there. I don't remember why I was on their website recently, but I was on their website just going through it. And I was never like an ALD customer just because I've worked in fashion and it wasn't a brand that we carried. They don't do like that kind of wholesale and stuff like that. So it wasn't ever something I thought much of other than it was fun to pay attention to. I don't think I've ever owned anything from them. But I really respect what they do because I think they've taken, where Ralph Lauren stopped. You know what I mean? Quite frankly, I know he's still doing stuff, but it's stuck in a lane and it's going to be stuck in a lane until someone takes it over, which he already tried doing and then went back on. Mm-hmm. So it's going to take him dying for anyone else to really take it and own it. Mm-hmm. And I think at that point, I don't know, maybe it just needs to be done, quite frankly. Sometimes things just need to be done.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He's probably the only logical person to take over, in my opinion, because it felt like there was someone who understood that you could have culture and that was really embedded in what you do.
Yeah.
And it could play against character whenever it wants to because it's so embedded and so authentic. And they could create something that felt so of the moment, but also like I could totally see that style 20 years from now coming back somehow. You know what I mean? Like that kind of like, the thing you picture when you close your eyes and think of that brand.
Yeah, totally.
And he was able to create something very like iconic of the moment, spoke to younger people, spoke to older people. I think it's an important brand, if I'm being honest with you. Maybe it won't be fully appreciated now because I think it gets lost in the streetwear phase of everything, But I was on there the other day, and it's like, I feel like it's a brand that you don't hear about so much anymore. It's certainly not as feverish as it used to be. Doesn't mean they're not extraordinarily successful, because there's plenty of brands that exist that aren't feverish that make a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not really to like downplay it at that point, but you certainly don't feel the ground shaking every time there's a drop like there used to be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the same thing.
You
like
used
what
to
happened
pass
to
on the
Supreme
early
and-
access links. And
it was a big deal. You wanted to have it because everything was going to sell out otherwise, and it wasn't just the shoes; it was the clothes. But it is interesting to see that brand. I'm like, I just wonder at this point, it's at one of these unique times, like a crossroads for the brand of like, will this be an icon thing that sticks around, or is this was it just like a very of the moment thing?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because if I'm being honest with you, I think Kith will be remembered as like a department store. Do you know what I mean? Not in a bad way. I don't mean it in a bad way. I mean, they were all dealing in a commodity,
like an institution.
You know what I'm saying? Of fashion.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of years of that happening in different ways prior to us, you know, really being involved in the industry and things like that. But it was like a boom that happened.
Yeah.
And someone had to be the purveyor of the boom. And they were sort of that thing, you know, it's the same way that like Barney's, Bergdorf, Neiman were they were the purveyor of that sort of thing. Like they were the ones who showed and anointed cool, you know, for a long time. And I think that's what Kith did for a lot of streetwear brands. You know, Union was a good example too, but they were always, you know, they seem to, I don't know, be a little bit above everything else.
Could you give me a synopsis on Kith? Because we stayed near one of the Kith stores in Tokyo, and I'm not familiar with their game, so to speak. I think of it as sneaker drops and streetwear. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's much else to it. It was a sneaker shop that I think at the time dared to be a little bit bigger than just a sneaker shop.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Just your local sneaker shop.
Multi-brand retailer as well as having
its own identity,
their own brand.
Yeah. I mean, again,
clothing.
it was taking things. This isn't reinventing the wheel. It's reinventing how it's perceived or how it operates given the new rules and restrictions. And like, you know, places like Barney's obviously closed. They couldn't figure it out. You know what I mean? They just never made the transition to online. They never made the transition to brands changing as rapidly as they were, to social media era. And it was the right thing to do, I think. I just think it had been taken as far as it could go. And someone's going to take on that. Now, I think there's probably like way too much that went into, you know, streetwear, and that's for a million reasons. Some of them positive, some of them negative. And I think, you know, Kith, for example, is like a version of that understood the time, the customer, the thing that was going on in the world, you know what I mean? Yeah. And was able to harness it and and they were able to step up and be the thing that it needed at the time. And I think that sometimes that's all it is, you know. And I think it's with them, it's a little less point of view compared to like Aim Leondor to me. I don't know. It just feels like it was like a smart. I don't know the entire synopsis if that's what, but like that's like how I.
No, it makes sense. Okay.
I mean,
I
that's
just want
what
to make
it
sure
is,
I was thinking of it right.
You know, in the landscape to me.
Yeah.
And I just wonder a little bit like what'll happen with you know ALD over time. Like, is it an icon brand? Is it around forever, or are we seeing the end of it at the same time? This isn't a judgment on businesses. They might be incredibly profitable. They might have never seen any downturn at all. I don't know. I don't know. It's just an interesting thing to see. Some of these arcs that have happened with like streetwear oriented stuff, like were they able to shed that skin or not?
The upswing and downswing seems so violent for companies like Aim Leondor. You know what I mean? I think they do such a good job with styling and shifting. Like, I don't think it's going anywhere.
Is it enough? Is I guess the
the
question.
Maybe
like,
it's just not going to.
Is that enough?
It's just maybe not going to live at the height that it did in say 2021 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like if I'm thinking of the timeline correctly, but like, will it be consistently good for the customer that they have? I think so.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an interesting point. Is that a lot of brands? No, not a lot of brands. Every single brand, unless they shot up and then died, have gone like this. Like you have this. It goes up and then it goes like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And question is, how long can you keep that going consistently? How long does what you're doing, or like how much do you believe that what you're doing is forever, versus how much do you think it's trend or customer focused?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, do you have to like change what you're doing for to keep that younger customer interested?
Or do you just rock with
Or do you keep evolving with the customer that you brought up in the first place?
I think in their case, if I were on their team, I'd say we should stay true to what we felt the brand was when we started it, and the people who rocked with us are going to follow that evolution organically.
And anybody who's not getting it now on the younger side will eventually get it.
Probably.
Or something.
As they grow up and mature, it becomes...
Yeah.
Because I do think the vision is more mature than it was even 4 years ago.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. 100%.
I feel like it's
I think it
settled
always was.
Yeah.
It always thought of it. I mean, I think that's what made it so great. I mean, from the first lookbook, it's like this brand thinks it's so much bigger than it is. I think that they manifested that sort of... Like, this is bigger.
Like you said, Ralph created a world you wanted to live in. Same with them. We've been talking about the stylings forever.
Everyone does.
The shoot with the dogs in the car, even the shoot in the apartment complex where it felt very like intimate, or not the apartment complex, like the loft apartment, remember?
The first season, yeah.
It's just awesome. You're like, oh, I could see myself wearing those clothes doing this thing. This feels...
Yeah.
Or it's... aspirational. Like, I would love to have a vintage car and look that fucking cool getting in it with my 2 dogs or what have you. You know what I mean? We're never going to look as cool as that model. Nothing will do. Nobody on the planet, but...
It's just I guess that's where it gets tough, like, with some of these brands is, like, they can't break into full fashion. I just don't think it's possible. You know what I mean? And you have like people like Ralph Lauren who's like, I don't give a shit. I'll do both sides and you'll ride with me or not. You know what I mean? You'll meet it where it's at or you won't.
Yeah.
And I think that like that resolution is what actually takes things, long distances.
What is full fashion though to you? Doing runway?
I mean, I don't think it's arguable. I think that is what it is. I mean, there are different levels of respect for how you present collections,
sure,
and who they're purchased by, and not only customer but stores, and like that's just the way it is. You know what I mean? Like ALD didn't start as like a fashion brand, like a capital F. Like we do runway shows, we present at these places. We're carried at these shops. Now it was tiny for a long time. You know what I mean? There was no wholesale of it that I really saw much out of Japan.
Sure,
and there was no. It didn't really seem like there was any sort of specific idea on expansion initially. Now, I mean, especially after being there, you see the runway shows and you can see just in the past year how much the perception has shifted. You know what I mean? Of like, oh, this is being taken seriously at a fashion level. I mean, and ironically, just because we're talking about it, like a Kith collaboration, like, and it's able to kind of maintain integrity regardless of what level it's playing at. And that's a tough thing to do. And I mean, I think that's some of the ways business was done in streetwear is the reason why it can be tough to break out and be beyond that. I mean, you saw Fear of God struggle with this throughout the years. You know what I mean? Of like, what is it? Like the way it came up and got popular was different than what it wanted to be. And it never really got accepted as one or the other. And then it ended up kind of in this identity crisis thing that I think is tough to break out of.
Seeing a brand that does ready to wear and runway, does that make you want the brand more, you personally, or does it for instance, what I'm getting at is when I see a brand that does runway, I instantly, just because of my own hangups or the way that I view clothing as mostly utility and I want the story to be there, but I want to also wear my clothing hard. If a brand does runway, I immediately think, well, that's really cool and I appreciate that. It's not for me personally, though, because it makes it feel less approachable and or utility based. Like most of my stuff is so utility based. It's whether it's true or not, I'll have it forever. It's these garments that are made to last, et cetera, et cetera.
Or at bare minimum, you've bought into the idea of that.
At bare minimum, that is a selling point. That part of the story works for me.
That's the story, because you have to admit, that's the story you're telling yourself. That's an important to you because you're telling that story to yourself.
Exactly.
That's not even necessarily, some of the brands are telling you that, but not all of them.
But that's not to say that a runway brand like ALD doesn't make products that's built to last. That's not the case. The product is well made and beautiful and considerate in all the other same ways that...
You're talking about use case at that point, which just comes down to the customer, because the customer that overall the runway would appeal to does not give a shit about the things that you're saying.
True.
Is just the reality. You know
Absolutely.
What I mean?
Yeah.
And the way it's consumed and respected, quite frankly. It's just, it's reverence. It's the type of reverence that you're holding for that thing. Changes. It just does. I mean, I'm not saying that that's good or bad. It does.
It's just true. Yeah.
I do think that when a brand gets to the point where they're presenting in that way, the respect for the artist changes.
Yeah.
That's what I think changes personally.
You can,
and I think that that's shown through the designer. If the designer then goes, I can do whatever I want, no matter what. I have unlimited degrees where I can go in any direction I want to now. And it's my actual vision that matters to this company and how it's perceived. Now, how the business works beyond that can obviously have a huge effect. But you're trusting the designer to carry the brand and name and blah, blah, blah. I mean, you look at things, dude, like this is very like, Devil Wears Prada. But like you look at, I got advertised some H&M thing for kids, and I was looking at a couple things. I'm like, oh, these are cute. And I said, this is Marnie from like 2 years ago. It's like 100%. The 3 outfits that they have presented here are from Marnie. I don't remember what season, but like 3 years ago, Marnie. These are tried and true. Like I can tell you exactly the pocket placement, the logo placement, the color, everything was already decided by Marnie a long time ago. And someone had to let that motherfucker just cook because he makes absurd fucking shit. You know what I mean? I mean, just when you look at runway, it's fucking crazy, man. I mean, the shoes are crazy.
Yeah.
The runway is crazy. And the runway predicts how the ready to wear is going to look, because it has to be cleaned up for ready to wear. That if they have diffusion lines, then happens there. If they have collabs, it gets diffused more. And then eventually it's going down and down and down until it gets to an H&M Kids thing 2 years later. Yeah. And I think that is the reason there's different things, is because the level of reverence and appreciation and auteur, the opportunity to become auteur is there. And I think that's what makes it different. Yeah. Does it really matter to the clothes, and how you consume it? Not necessarily. But I do think that, like, if you were just making stuff because like, let's say we make a line, okay? And we make a line because we're like, and we've talked about this, quite frankly, that there's missing colors of jeans that we'd like to have, or shirts, or the t-shirts don't fit the way we want them to. And we want to make something, that accommodates what we can tell our customer is looking for.
Yes.
That's great. That's reactionary designing, though. You know what I mean? You're taking ideas from other places and
making it better,
changing
in
them
ways we
10, 20% because we think we know better, blah, blah, blah. And that's a way of doing things that is a huge business and, one we deal with sometimes. And then there's the version where but imagine you designing for that. And then imagining me saying, you have infinite money. You've got a massive budget. And what I want to know is not what happened. I don't want to know what's happening now. I want you to tell me what's going to happen in the future. And you have a year. I'm making up rules, but let's just say you have a year to make this now. You know what I mean? And you have a team. What are you going to create then versus what are you going to create when it's budget restricted, consumer minded, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you, I think, raise beyond that, that's when you're creating art rather than commerce. Now they all play together, obviously, in fashion, but I do think that's why I think that there's a slight difference, because you're putting the investors, the people involved in the company, the consumers, putting the trust in the designer that they know something that nobody else does.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that's the difference.
Yeah.
I don't know, but that's how I feel about it. So I don't know what happens to ALD over time, because I feel like it's weird that it's like been a brand that like doesn't have a specific place necessarily. Like it does and it doesn't. It doesn't have it doesn't. It doesn't have a specific trajectory from here.
Yeah, it could.
I could hear that it was going away suddenly, and I would feel the same way as if I heard that they were suddenly doing runway or something. You know what I mean? Or they had some breakthrough, something. I don't know. It's. I hope that they. I think that you might be right though in saying that, like, just keep doing what you're doing, and maybe you have some ups, maybe you have some downs, but over time, I think like Stüssy's a brand, Carhartt's a brand, that have been able to like change things up 10%. So you can be like, it's a little nod to like, we're paying attention and we know what's good, but we're still doing our shit, and our customer's always there.
Yeah,
technically, and I think the acceptance of like, I don't know, it doesn't have to be the acceptance, but like being like, this is what I do. This is how I do it. and I'm not going to change. And either you'll keep up with me and keep eating off the plate I present, or you won't. But like, I'm not going to change up what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I think there's something to be said for that, but I also think a lot of businesses sometimes go away because of that.
Yeah.
And I don't know which one they are.
I think they're the former, if I'm understanding the order. I think that they're just going to keep doing what got them the eyes.
Do you think that is still relevant now, though?
Maybe not the way it was delivered in the first or second season, but they probably have different tastes and different opinions and different experiences at this point.
I agree that they've been able to evolve it little by little and make it like more interesting and more, like you said, like a little bit more cohesive and evolve it little by little without losing any core customer. And I think all that's important. But you've seen sneakers drop off basically. Now, I'm not saying that people are still wearing sneakers, but like the height of like every single 550 getting purchased and resold.
Everybody having the
gone.
sneakers app. Yeah, it's just not the case. Yeah.
I don't think people are buying stuff like that anymore. And sneakers have their own world of figuring things out now. Some brands figuring it out, some brands not. But they don't have that anymore. They're really relying on collection and brand and vibe that they put out there. And I think I think as long as they remember that those things can take you pretty far, I think it'll be all right. But I also think there needs to be something that happens that creates relevancy also at the same time, where it doesn't feel like you're just sort of, doing the same shit over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Because at some point that does get tired.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's like fully tired for them, but it's definitely... They've banged the same drum for a long time.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just something I was thinking about when I was thinking about the sweatpants situation, because I was like, well, they were able to kind of successfully do that and with the middle finger up to everyone that's ever said you can't wear those in public, and they're like, yeah, you can, fuck off, you can look, and I think that like they've been that they were able to push that far enough to where I think there's like a lot of dudes going to church in Ohio wearing that look.
100%,
you know what I'm saying?
Dude. Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, you've been able to permeate, you changed that landscape.
Yeah.
You can like it or not. And obviously diffusion on diffusion on diffusion is always a different, whether that's good or bad, it's always its own thing. It's an interesting arc to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What else do we got going on? What do we got going on stuff wise? Obviously everyone that purchased pre-order for the
EG
collab, thank you so much.
Yes.
Incredible. We're super hyped. If you're hearing this, it might be too late because I think it comes out on Tuesday, but pre-order will close.
Yes.
If it closed on you and you didn't get it, don't worry about it. There's still going to be some more available. It's just going to be available a little bit later once we have the units to ship on demand.
Yes.
We're going to get all the pre-orders filled. We had some shipping stuff with EG that's neither here nor there, that everything will come kind of at different times. So we'll ship in order of complete orders and when it arrives. And then once we get all that sorted out, there will be kind of like, we'll call it like a second drop of everything that's left over.
Yep.
After that, all inventory that's left over at that point can be grabbed and we'll be shipping it directly. So if you're listening to this on Tuesday when it comes out and pre-order is closed, then just hop over, sign up for a restock notification, and or shoot us an email or do whatever you want to do, and we'll make sure that we get it. We really we get it going for you, because it's not, your opportunity is not squashed necessarily, but it might be a little thinner once it comes out. But what else we got some stuff that'll be dropping this week.
Yes, sir. We got we did a whole rundown, but things have come since. We've got some mugs from RRL. We got more RRL sitting on the table I need to write and receive. We have big ol' CDG perfume restock came today. Big ol'. We're really excited about that. Go over to the CDG perfume. We've got just about every offering they have now. We're big fans of it. Do you want to shout out a couple flavors, so to speak, that you've been rocking lately? Because I have a couple that have, now that the weather is shifting, I'm shifting how I smell. I have like a... this fly is driving me crazy. Killing me.
Let's see. I like concrete in the winter if I want like a daytime fragrance, because it's kind of like, it's dark but fresh at the same time, if that makes sense. And then I like Wonder Oud for like...
Wonder Oud.
A nighttime version of that thing.
Gotcha.
I also really love Blue Santal. That one's kind of an all the time one for me.
Yeah.
Like kind of a year round. If we've got it, this one's been a little tougher to stock, but Sequoia I think is very slept on.
I totally forgot
I think it's
about
very
that.
slept on. It's one that like I never really thought much about it because I didn't love it directly out, and then I wore it a couple times. And I'm like, it really evolves with you.
Yeah.
So I really like that one. Another one I like to do. This was more of a summertime thing, but I think it might be kind of fun to get away with a little bit in the winter. Is I do a spray of sunscreen, the suntan lotion smell, and then do a scent over the top of that, and it kind of I like the way it plays with things quite a bit.
Cool.
So yeah.
If
anyone's got any, obviously, I don't need to hear every single brand, but I like the idea of mixing. I know some people do that. I think it can be kind of fun as you start to understand scent and stuff like that.
Dibs got me a roller of straight cardamom, like straight cardamom scent, which I love. So now that has happened, or rather the weather has changed, I'm starting to do roller of cardamom coupled with Warzazate of the what collection is that, Timbo?
Which one?
I'm going to pull
series
it up.
Whatever, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Is it series 3 or series 5? I'm not sure which one's which.
It's a city in Morocco. It's from Incense Collection.
Incense collection. Yeah.
I do that. It's the orange writing one. I
feel like Hinoki's always in the mix.
Hinoki's really good. Again, one that is hard for us to get back in stock. But Hinoki rules. That's about where I'm at. So massive restock on that. You and I are going to do inventory on that today. Get that all up and live.
Rototo this week.
Rototo comes,
I believe.
That'll be sick.
Maybe next week. One or the other.
Yep. Maybe pick up some socks for holiday.
Really good. Also, really good hats because I've been looking for a cotton beanie for a little while. There's a couple in there I'm interested in checking out.
Cool. They got cotton ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they got some cool alternate kind of hats and
sick
gloved kind of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dope. Hender scheme is on the way. It's held in a warehouse pending.
We'll figure it out.
Custom shit, so you need to get that through. What else, bro?
If you've been waiting on merch for a long time, I think we've talked about it here, but we should be receiving that by the end of the month, beginning of next month. So that's on the way. So we can reveal that we'll have hoodie, zip hoodie.
Yes, sir.
Very good zip hoodie. Sweat shorts for the winter.
Mm-hmm. Tees.
And is that everything? Yeah, and then tees. And then 2 colors of tees.
That's everything, yep.
Yeah. So
really sick.
Yeah, really good stuff. Really excited about the new blanks and the fits and everything. So,
everything on it is stellar. Yeah. We just placed another order for personals of the tees to wear. So merch is coming. I'm stoked about that. Capital hit us and said they're ready for some stuff. So while that likely won't arrive this week,
next week, Tom, probably
next week at some point. There's a whole shipment of shit over there. I can't think of what it is.
I don't know. We'll get to it. You'll see it. Follow us on all the stuff.
Yeah. So hit us up if you have any other questions about outstanding deliveries. Not everything has been delivered in full, so we'll still be getting more things as the season continues on. What else, Brondo?
I don't know. Kind of, we're sort of feeling like, coming off the EG release. So it's like we're still getting our ducks in a row, getting cleaned up from all that, and
we got orders
organizing our thoughts. Yeah.
We need to do a good cleanup here in the stew. Just kind of get back on top of it. I feel like
I'm still fucking jet lagged.
I was just gonna say we got back from Tokyo, fucking tired as hell. A week of EG pre-order release planning and then release and.
We got a trip this weekend.
We got a trip this weekend coming up.
In-store the weekend after that.
I feel like, bro, I was having this issue of waking up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Now I'm sleeping. I'm back to sleeping. I slept till 8:40 this morning, dude. Ooh. I can't get on top of it. It might have to do with me jumping on the trampoline for 4.5 hours yesterday. That certainly has to do with it.
Dude, I've been up and exercised every single day. I just keep going. Just do the routine. No matter what time you wake up, you just kind of keep a routine. But at night, I can't stay awake.
A zombie, dude. Yeah,
I feel crazy, and it's ruined my evenings.
Yeah,
jet lag is the worst, man.
Dude,
and I don't know what. I'm sure people have got tips and tricks. Hit me with them because I'm not good at it, dude. I'm just now I just go to sleep at 9 and I'm up at 5.
Yeah.
So maybe I should just leave it, but it's also
just let it rock,
it's
dude.
winter, man. That's the worst time to do that, I think.
Oh, really? I like it. Ugh.
I like it in the summer because I'm up at 5. Sun's up. I can get going.
No,
Not
I like
now.
it. I like it because it turns my living room into a shipping container, more or less. Dark, cold.
You got to come out of it at some point, brother.
Yeah. Hey, we went live on Friday night. That was kind of fun for the folks that popped into our Instagram live. Timothy and I just chatting. Caught not a lot of hate, but a lot of people being like, "What the fuck is this dude talking about?" Me saying, "Skincare is a scam. Medicine is a scam. Vitamins are a scam."
Look, I will accept you bringing these topics back up if you put together a full PowerPoint full of information.
I can only do it from my own experience, baby.
Then we're not interested. I think there was a resounding answer of not interested in these things then.
So anyway, thank you for bearing with us through that. That was fun.
Yeah, well, we can do another one of those. Or maybe we can
again.
figure another way to do like live stuff because it's kind of fun to answer questions in real time.
And just to kick it.
Yeah.
So thank you for everybody that popped in and said hi. I think that's about it, bro. It's Monday. We got a 3-day work week. Me, you, Abby, Gia, so to speak.
We got a secret mission.
We're going to a different place in the States this time. And we just got a little secret mission to go on. So it'll be fun. It's not LA. We do want to come to LA and see everybody, though. That does sound like a real hoot. So we'll have to.
We can still make that work at some point. Here,
maybe not before the end of the year, but maybe early
beginning
next year.
year.
So we'll see.
All right.
Yeah. Anything else? Anything else you want to say, Brondo? We didn't do a big catch up. This was more
I don't know
talk,
what we
but we can
about.
just do that another time.
Nothing I planned is what we talked about. So I don't think I have anything specific that we have to go over or do.
Hold on, I think there was a pod question that I thought would be good.
Oh, you want to answer?
Oh yeah, let's do one of these. We got this one. This is from Jeff Unknown, my boy. He's got a move coming up. I won't blast it to everybody, but he has a move coming up, so I know this is what he's thinking.
Okay.
Let's just do this one. We don't have to go super deep, but you're gonna move. You got limited space. You're gonna have to curate your closet. What are you taking? What are you leaving behind? It's moving to a place with all 4 seasons. Reasonable access to shopping, brands you like, enjoy. Let's say, we're gonna the numbered thing, but would you have? Let's simplify it a little bit. Would you have any issue, or do you think that you're probably in a position to where you don't even need to get rid of much shit?
No, I have a backlog of stuff that needs to get like donated or sold or some shit like that, and that's already boxed up and stuff. The band tees, I got like a stack right now that needs to get vacuumed, but those are all vacuum sealed. So I'm good there. Other than that, no, it wouldn't take me long at all. Yeah. I'm keeping it tight right now.
Yeah.
So I mean, one good box and I'm especially if it could be a hanging box, I can just hang those babies up, put the folded stuff below.
Yep.
Easy.
I would say I could do it pretty easily as well. It'd be brutal, but there are, 3-4 pair of pants I'm holding on to because it's a brand I like or I wanted to like, and maybe I don't wear them all that much. Or, I had these pair of pants for so long and I can't get rid of them because I've worn them for so long, but I haven't worn them in the last year. I could be pretty brutal about it and do just fine. I realize I'm not answering the question that well, but he basically said you can't exceed 20 total items.
20
I can do that, no problem.
items? I can do this. I think I can do it fast. Okay.
And it might even be if shoes.
Watch me do this fast.
Shoes don't count. Go ahead.
I'll do it with shoes. I can do it with shoes. Black Converse Chuck 70s.
Got it.
Fuck, I've really liked the Arizona, so I might go a full switch to Arizona over Boston.
Arizona or Kyoto?
Kyoto, I mean, sorry.
Or Zurich.
Not Kyoto.
Zurich.
So I get one of those in the classics taupe. Vans Authentics in black.
Cool.
I could live with just those if I'm trying to keep it tight.
Yep, gotcha.
I need black crew necks. What am I on? It's
You're
a black
on 4
crew
now,
neck sweater, black cardigan. I need those 2 items.
Okay, done.
Or and just to be clear, one of those could be charcoal actually, just for mixing it up sake.
Yep, gotcha.
So I could just keep those.
Yep.
I can go to 20, huh? Oh, I'm solid, dude. This is easy.
You're good. I'm gonna do it 2 after you.
I go flannel, preferably anything old and beat up. For the sake of this argument, I would just take. I have a pretty solid 7 cuts. I'll keep that one in the mix. I need one striped shirt like this. Doesn't matter which one. I've got several. Frismworks ones are good. None of Mika ones are good. This one from Freak Store is great. I think I have couple old polo ones that I'll wear underneath suits too. But just say I need one for the sake of this. Easy. I need black blazer.
Okay.
I need charcoal blazer.
Done. You
Easy.
got both.
So
those,
like a tweed one and like a black one.
Yeah.
I have like right now I have like a Harris tweed one and I have a linen one. I do probably want one linen shirt.
You got that.
I got it. So you got one linen shirt.
You're halfway. You're
10.
good, dude.
I need 2 pairs of basically the same jeans. This is my own thing.
Vintage
I need
jeans.
one that matches the denim top, and I need one that's just like vintage 501s.
Gotcha.
I can switch those out whenever. I need. Do I have to count individual socks? That's
No,
where things
socks
start.
and accessories.
Socks and underwears we don't
yeah.
count. What about hats? All those we're just putting to the side.
Yeah, accessories don't count.
Okay, because I can put those into one box.
Yeah.
I basically need a couple hats that look like this in a couple colors. I need some Uniqlo socks in
Gotcha.
basic, boring colors,
Yeah.
and my usual Lululemon underwear.
Mm-hmm,
All that can be put in a single box. We're not counting.
Easy.
Okay, so where am I at? I got denim jacket. Then I'm good there.
Okay.
Oh, I need black pant. I need black jacket of some kind. Could be a denim black. It could be any sort of like more cropped style, like work
Gotcha.
black jacket.
Gotcha.
Got that. So I got 5 left now. I'm solid, dude.
Yeah, dude,
I
you're
like
good.
some sort of like khaki trench coat. Like I have an Oral Lee one, but I've had old Burberry ones in the past.
Yeah, sure.
Something in that category. I want one. Like I have like this Helly Henson one I altered, and then I love it for some reason. Like it just just checks all the boxes
perfect,
for me for some reason. One like raincoat type of thing, like one like Arc'teryx or this thing or whatever it is. I got like room to play in my
you're
mind
good
right now.
You're good.
I'm just trying to like
Sweaters?
go through. I'm good. I got the 2 I
you're
need.
good.
You know what I mean? I got the 2 I need. Oh, I do. You know what? I'll add a sweater vest. I've always been a sweater vest guy. I'll add, like in a black or gray one of those into the mix.
Yep.
What else needs to be in there? Just like thinking through. Oh, you know what? I like to have a bomber jacket. I've always liked like a a classic like flight jacket.
Do you have one right now?
Yeah, I've got like an old one of the old Uniqlo and Lemaire ones.
Oh, right on. Yeah,
and
cool.
it's like really big and it was I like that one a lot. I've like tried. I bought vintage ones since. I just about bought a Visbom one, and for some reason, like this one, I just like the fit of it best.
Yeah.
So there's like one thing I would fix if I could, but I can't. I don't know, man. I might be. I can probably. Oh, you know what? I'll put this in accessories, even though I probably like one pair of black sunglasses.
Oh, great.
I'm good.
Easy.
If
dude.
I have those things, I don't need other stuff.
Yeah.
Like I have good versions of all those things that I'm solid.
I mean, honestly, I might want to just do this. I'm going to do my 20, and I might just do it because it shows I've got excess, and it makes me feel anxious to have
See,
excess.
I will say everything I just described. I have all those things for the almost all those things. I have all of them.
Yeah.
Now that I think about it, I would like to have like a couple more of each one, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Like I like having backups because it's like I just like having backups.
Yeah, no, I got you.
It's more of just a thing. You know what I mean? I don't need them, obviously, but I like having different I like things to fit a little bit different depending on how I want them to fit, but I want them to be the same.
Yeah,
That's why I have like 3 pairs of black pants or like 5 pairs of the same jeans. Basically, they fit slightly different, so they accommodate different silhouettes.
Easy. Yeah, I got you. All right. Mink.
Do you want me to keep count or are you good?
I'll keep count.
Okay.
Mink, Boston's, Birkenstocks.
I thought you were going to start out like mink coat.
Mink coat. Mink coat with the rose like a
Something
shark
I've never seen you wear. Mink coat.
Mink Boston's. My brown Vans Authentics, the ones I got from you, the suede ones. Mm-hmm. Tan Wallabies.
You do an orange-brown shoe like I've never seen anyone do before.
It's just what
your thing?
It's what I go for. Yeah, it's just what I like.
It's very interesting. Not putting you down at all. It's just like I would never. It would never be a go-to for me. It feels like such a specific thing, but you wear it as if it's not. And I think it's good.
Be
I think
any
it's good.
color. It doesn't matter. Tan Wallabies. Those are my 3 shoe situations. I'm gonna leave shoes as is.
Okay.
Black 101s. 6-pocket vintage fit cargos from Orslow. Green. Okay. So I have black, green. Double taps cargos. Green.
I love that you are doing what we just said. You've got both cargos in there.
Yeah, I want them both in there. So 2 cargos and a pair of black pants. Let's add in one more. It's going to have to be... Oh, shoot. You know, it's going to have to be green, Orslow, Canoe Club, fatigue pants. The Herringbone 12 ones.
You are fucking covered on green pants now.
Covered on green pants. I got a pair of black and 3 green. Good there. We'll probably call them.
You know, I might walk my sunglasses back, although I do want those, but I want to put those in my accessory box. And I will say,
Harrell ones?
I'll take my Harrell green pants. Just any, but you could call that any sort of pair of green fatigues. I do like to have one in the mix. Yeah,
that covers me for pants. Love the rest of my pants, but those are what I would take.
Okay,
it's what I brought to Japan. Easy. Then from there, got my pants. I got my shoes. From there, blue hoodie from Visvim, red Visvim hoodie. Done. Coddle type 2. I'm on 10. Coddle type 2. Visvim type 2. Visvim vest. Got it on.
I love this idea of like us saying like, I might take away the excess or whatever, and then you're like, 1, 2, 3 pairs of cargos, 1, 2, 3 denim jackets. It's like the same shit 100 times.
So I'm at 12.
Yeah.
Blue Storm EG Canoe Club. Green EG Canoe Club pants from this season. So now I'm at 14. So that's my 3rd pair of green pants. Cargos, might I add.
You don't need bags.
No.
You're covered on that.
Shoot. What else, bro? What else do I wear? I wear the same thing every day.
I'm just trying to think of things that I see you in that you haven't hit on yet.
Yeah.
You don't have any shirts.
EG denim work shirt.
Shit, I got to fix something because I don't have any tees in there.
Tees don't count.
Tees aren't counting?
No, tees don't count.
Okay.
They were that just doesn't count. That's an accessory as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. I only need
bring all the tees you want.
In my dream world, I have 7 off-white t-shirts and I have 7 off-black t-shirts.
Done. Consider it done. Easy.
Okay. I can put those in the accessories.
Yeah, you
box.
can put those in the box.
Yeah.
Outside of this, dude, I honestly, I might be done. What else?
I feel like you're missing a couple. Like you don't have any shirts. Like I said,
I have my EG work shirt.
Okay, you just need one shirt. Nothing else.
Yeah.
What about the summer? Aren't you gonna be hot?
No.
Okay.
Unless I'm in Arizona, I wear a t-shirt and a jacket every day anyway. Don't care. Mm-hmm. I'm working. I don't want to work outside. I work inside. Air conditioning. We have air conditioning here.
Mm-hmm.
That might be it, buddy. I'm at 15. I got 5 to spare. I could find some other things along the way or fill the rest of the box with.
Play the game. You always do this. You bail on it. Or
yeah. Okay. So I'm trying to think in terms of my closet. The Coddle indigo dyed chore coat.
Okay.
Canoe Club blue chore coat. EG gray crew neck.
Good choice for you.
I don't have any heavy coats, but I don't have heavy coats. Oh, Harrell. I got it. Harrell garment dyed ripstop shirt jacket. Nanamika field jacket. The blue one that looks exactly the same as the Harrell one.
If you pared this down, you could go back to 10. Like if you just didn't have doubles of almost everything.
It's blue.
You
tops,
basically
green
just did
pants,
triples of the Nova.
Oh fuck! I forgot. Okay, we're gonna get rid of. I need my Boro jacket in there somewhere.
You know, I thought it was strange that you didn't bring it up, but I was like, it's a specific item, so maybe that.
No, I wear it like it's. I wear it like it's just any other denim jacket. I would switch out the Nanamika one's nice and light for. Let's take out the double taps cargos because I have the EG Canoe Club ones. Let's switch out the double taps cargos for the Boro jacket. Done.
Sacrificing one of 3 cargos.
Done. Easy. Done. Not worried about it.
All right. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Thank you, Jeff Unknown. It's really, to be honest with you, Timbo, it's what did I pack for Japan? That's it. It's everything I named is exactly what I had.
Everything I packed from Japan, I could have thrown in the fucking ocean because it didn't matter. As soon as we got there and it was raining the whole time, I was like, all of this is just wet.
I had all of my tees that I had washed, and then laid out all over the hotel room to dry. And then because the dryer didn't work, got home and I was like, oh, I'm good. Nope, they were wet. So I just washed everything, dude.
Well, I took everything and immediately washed it. I don't even think about it. Even if
I did take a break off of most of the clothes, but I'm back to wearing what I had. Whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you're on vacation, not vacation in this situation, but I don't.
When you're
might as well be vacation. I'm so sick of the clothes that I have, but then the thing is, I come back and it's like what I reach for because I only brought the things that I love. So that'd be it. Yeah, I need another pair of black pants though. And I'm just waiting for those perfect ones to find me.
What do you want them to be like?
I want them to be like my Nanamika wide trousers that I got rid of. Chinos. They're a little tight in the waist.
Oh, you want them to be like a chino material.
I want them to be more like a chino material. I have my 101 black denim stones. I'm thinking about the French work pant from Ordinary Fits. I'm thinking about the coffee brown French work pant from
the gray
Orslow's.
ones. The gray ones in the Ordinary Fits. Is that what you're talking about?
No, just the black French work pant, like straight up.
I didn't know we had a black one.
Yeah, just straight up.
I think you should get those gray ones. I think it would mix you up in a nice way.
I think they're gone on my side.
Are they gone already?
Yeah.
I think those would have been good for you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I really like them.
Like they would have gone with everything that you wear.
Yeah.
Like goes with navy, goes with black, and goes across. They would fit cool. They have like a little bit of like nuance to them with a little bit of paint and stuff. I think that would have been good for you.
Yeah. You know what? And like I said, there are things in my closet that I've held on to for whatever reason that have sentimental value that I have not worn, and I'm fine to be honest with myself about them. So I might be throwing them up in the Canoe Club Discord buy sell trade, which is dope as shit. Solid group assortment. So I might have some more things to sell to buy more black pants and the like. So that's about it, my boy.
Okay.
What do we think? We're already almost at
here?
2. It's been. Oh, my computer's gonna die.
All right, we gotta go.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye.